Well, I feel like it's predictable what I'm going to say, but obviously, the magic of the Red Blue weekend speaks volumes of how lucky it is. We all are to be both players and coaches here at the University of Arizona. I mean, very few arenas are filled to capacity. Keep in mind that I think that the tickets went on sale in June and lasted for about 10 days or maybe even less. I think we almost sold them all in about 2 days. But to have 14,500 fans for tonight's weekend is incredible and awesome is what I would say. And equally nice for the 1997 team win a national championship. It's sacred and it feels that way here as it should. And to watch Miles Simon, who was a big part of that, get his number retired, I think is awesome. The right thing, but also I think might pave the way for some others who've done some incredible things here as players and haven't got their number retired. And there's a long list, as you guys know. And in terms of our team, I told our guys after the game, I've watched players in this game in the last 7 years be the highest scorer, and a month later not be good enough to even play in a regular season college game. I've watched guys struggle in tonight's red and blue game, usually the first-year players, and become first-round picks that summer. You have to take what you see out there with a grain of salt. But it is always a reminder when you watch the red-blue game, the advantage of experience. And I think back to Parker a year ago in this game, or maybe 2 years ago when he would have been playing head-to-head with TJ, against TJ, and Parker would have been a freshman. And, man, he's really gotten better. I think it's very obvious to see. He's stronger, faster, more sure of himself. And I think he's one of the many things that I'm really excited about. Ditto for Duson. I don't know if there's, from an offensive perspective, too many 7-footers out there who have the touch and the know-how to score like he does. And as you could tell, he's running better, worked really hard over the summer. So there's a lot of guys in that boat, but usually who they aren't the guys who just get here. They're the ones who've been here before. Kadeem Allen, ditto for him. So we move on, and once the red-blue closes, then it now moves to a different chapter, and that is it's about the next 3 or 4 weeks, how much better can this team get? And you learn more and more about yourself every day, and I think it's going to be an exciting journey.
What was it like being a prop for Raleigh's dunk?
Raleigh, he's a great kid. He's really funny and has an amazing personality. But he actually started to talk to me about this about a month ago. And, of course, I filed it away and forgot about it. But he reminded me 2 weeks ago. And then after shoot-around, he waited for me. And I thought something was wrong. And all of a sudden, I looked at him, and you could tell that he was about ready to ask me for the third time. I said, okay, I'll do it on one condition. If you let me coach you really hard on defense and make you play defense, I'll do it. And he said, deal. But I'm sure when you watch him go about that, it tells you a lot about him. He has great charisma, team guy, really, really a fun person to be around. I'm excited that he's here.
When was the last time you had an assist?
Long time ago. Yeah, I guess that was one. And I also thought for the new guys too, I thought he played well. You could see he's really strong driving to the basket, and he's under control. A lot of guys who are really strong drivers at times are out of control when they get here. He's really not. He'll make the pass, and I think he's somebody that we have a lot to work with to help him become better.
So that wasn't rehearsed at all? There was no practice?
No, first time, yeah.
Is he a natural left-hander?
Meaning dribbling or?
Well, anything. I know a couple of those nights layups he made.
Yeah,
Really
he can. I think he can go both ways, very easily. He's right-handed, but in terms of being able to drive strong, he can go both ways.
Sean said a couple weeks ago at the media day that you kind of wanted him to be more aggressive, and you wish he had been more aggressive last year. Just what do you see him in that? Because he looks like he's going to be more offensively at least.
Who's that?
Sean, Allen.
Kadeem.
Kadeem, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're Sean.
Yeah, Kadeem, we talked about using him away from the point guard position some to free him up to use more energy as a defensive stopper. You even see tonight, I think he has more talent in that area. as a perimeter player than maybe anybody on our team. But you have to remember a couple years ago, Kadeem averaged about, 28 a game at Hutch. And he's waited his turn, and he's paid his dues, and he's had a really good offseason. He's mature, he's older, and we need him to be a really good player for us, for sure. And, I think, the combination of Alonzo and him, you look at Parker, we have more depth in the backcourt. You throw Kobe. And it's tough to judge Kobe right now because we're asking him to play two positions, one of which is the point guard. And, there's more of an upside to that. But right now, he's not going to look as good playing in this game as he otherwise would have if, for example, I just gave him one thing to learn. So he has a lot going on, but I think for his career and also the depth of our team, we're trying to move him back and forth right now. So you look at Raleigh, and then same thing with Ray. I mean, it was Ray's first time in McHale other than last year's Red-Blue game. He has a ways to go. He should. But I've already seen him over the last 3 or 4 weeks make tremendous gains, and I'm excited to continue to watch him, and hopefully he stays injury-free.
Coach, Ray's shot seemed to be pretty nice, smooth, soft shot. Can you just talk about his offensive game and how it's developed over the last year despite the injury?
Yeah, well, first of all, Ray's had to spend a lot of time in the weight room. You can ask our strength coach. I think he's the strongest player on our team leg-wise, which is big for his future because it protects him. And one thing about his injuries, both have been repaired, so they're stronger now than ever before. He has additional leg strength, and I think that's the foundation for his growth. He's worked on his game, he's worked on his shot, but he really started playing 5-on-5 about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So you can imagine, it's been a long time off. I think judging him tonight, watching him maybe 2 weeks from now, a month, 2 months from now, my hope is that, like a lot of our freshmen, you'll see him gain confidence and continue to be more sure of himself.
Can you talk about Markkanen and some of his offensive game and where his footwork's at and how far along that needs to come?
Lowry had 14 points and 7 rebounds. I think that's pretty much to be expected from him. We don't have a lot of our offense in. There are times when we just dribbled around. Again, we've only been practicing for 8 days, but as our offense smooths out, there are so many things that Lowry can do, not only for himself, but to make our team better, harder to guard. And I think you guys can see that he's not 6'8". I mean, Lowry's 7 foot, and he's not slow. He can move. So, there aren't a lot of guys his age out there playing college basketball. And, again, we're excited to have him. A lot of these guys are new. It's going to take time. They're going to make mistakes. But I think our team will grow as long as we're healthy from each practice and each game throughout the year.
Is Trier good to go for the regular season?
I can't really respond. I think you're talking about the rumors that are out there, and I can't respond to that.
Do you know
I answered.
time? Could be a-
I can't
a
respond to the rumors.
Is it disappointing, Sean, to hear that kind of stuff?
What's that?
Hear those types of things out there? Is that disappointing to you to hear that?
I can't respond to the rumors.
Any other questions?
Do some defensively. I think that's his biggest question, I think. Offensively, he looked like he hadn't lost a thing offensively. How much is he improved
Well,
defensively?
we're going to learn as we play against different players. You don't really know because you're playing against yourself constantly right now. But I think moving forward, Dusan has prepared himself to be better. He's prepared himself to move easier. He's in the best shape of his life. He's smarter. I talked to Billy Donovan the other night, and he was raving about Caleb, how physical he is and how smart he is on defense. And, it's kind of like, yep, you know that. That's what he did. But Dusan was around that guy for 2 years, and I really think he learned a lot through that experience. But it now is his time, and I think we have an incredibly gifted offensive player that's going to be an improved defender. And, it's up to us to continue to teach him. And I think Dusan is his heart's in the right place. His work ethic is great. And we have to get him to where he's supposed to get to. And Chance, tonight you saw some glimpses, but Chance came here at 187, and right now he weighs about 225 pounds. So that's a big difference.
How much are you able to take away from an event like this and gauge the team?
It's just good for our guys to get out in front of the crowd. 14,500. it's not as easy for them to go out there and play as you would think, and it's a trial run of things to come.
Do you feel like overall, you have ways to go, like you said, but just the fact you got a 5'9" point guard, 7 assists, no turnovers, and a couple of 7-footers, pretty efficient out there, just everything in between. I mean, is it more a complete team maybe you can eventually get with?
I don't know the difference. A year ago, we had a lot happen that derailed us, in this game. The team that finished the year didn't begin the year, and that happens sometimes. There's circumstances, injuries that can really take away from a team's success. So, part of it is to be able to stay healthy, and part of it is we're counting on the younger players to develop and improve. Certainly, they have a lot of talent. It's not always in the cards, though, that it's about Arizona and it's about that improvement. Everybody, I think in college basketball in particular, wants it to happen right away. So a lot of times there's a process that we have to go through to make people more coachable, to make sure that they buy into the role that they have. The role they have at the beginning of the year might not even be close to the role they have at the end of the year. But the way it will change is for them to stay with us and believe in what we do. So tonight's usually the first test. Once you see how they react to the red blue, if they have problems, they're never making it here.
Any other questions?
How important was it to have the 97 team come back and just engage with your team on a night like tonight?
It's great. It's a reminder of what we're trying to do here. And the thing that's interesting about that team is I think they had one McDonald's All-American. That's what Coach Olson told me. Certainly a lot of others that have gone on to do great things. If Jason Terry wasn't a McDonald's All-American, clearly they got that wrong as he's in his 18th year in the NBA, right? So it's not always about who you are in high school. It's about who you are in college. And I think Miles is an example of that. Jason Terry is an example of that. And then Mike Bibby is, one of the things you learn about McDonald's All-Americans, there's the cheeseburger, and then there's the Big Mac. He was a Big Mac. He was the real thing. What he did in high school, he did even better in college. And then when he left college, he did it even better in the NBA. So, those are the coveted once-in-a-lifetime type of players. But, the team's chemistry, the fact they finished not in first place in the Pac-10, I think 5th place. They got hot at the right time. They had great guard play. So there's a lot of lessons to learn. And I told our players after the game, Miles didn't go on to have a great NBA career, but why did he get his number retired at Arizona? Because his team won the national championship. And when you're motivated by team success, it's amazing what happens, the respect you get as an individual player. So that's a process too. Not everybody in our locker room is going to feel that now. Hopefully they'll feel it as the season goes on.
How much interaction was there between the two teams?
With our own team and them, a little bit here in McHale, but those guys have their own events, and I'm sure as the weekend goes on, they'll have a chance to talk to our guys. But they always pull different players aside, which we always appreciate.
When you look back at that team, and you played a few years before then, just in general, and you've talked a lot about recruiting being different. I mean, anything else strike you as different from that era to this year? Is the way the games are being played, or the way people are, or anything like that?
Actually, one of the things that comes to my mind about that team is they played a style of basketball that was fun, 3 guards, and they seemed to have a lot of fun playing the game, but it was almost a sign of things to come. They played the game almost the way the game was played after they left college. It's, if you look at how the game, 3 guards, using the dribble penetration, playing off of each other, and obviously having some guys who really believed in their role.
Did that happen here? We talked about this 2 weeks ago. You have the guys, the elements to go fast and slow if you don't have the fast, but that's a chance here.
We do, and we have to take advantage of that depth. You saw tonight, we tried to press a few times, mix that in, but not until everybody's on the same bench and you play against somebody else do you have more of a feel. But, practice is everything right now, and I think we have an opportunity to really improve over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, do you feel like offensively, at least, you may have as skilled a team as you've had? Or?
Well, one difference is Lowry, he has the ability to step away from the basket as a front court player. We really haven't had that really since Derek Williams maybe, and Jamel Horn in our first couple of years. We've been more traditional, so that helps spacing. And I'm really excited watching Parker. not just because of how he played today, but how he's played every day. He's at a higher level as a basketball player right now than he's been in his time at Arizona.
You had, speaking of Lowry, you had him a lot at the 4 and even Ray at the 3. I mean, is that maybe more likely to play out that way?
Yep, and Ray can play either. A lot like some of the players you guys have seen, Solomon, Rondé, Aaron, where they bounce between the 3 and the 4. It's really one of the things that hurt us last year. We really didn't have that player. We had traditional big guys or traditional perimeter. Ray is one of those players that can bounce back and forth between perimeter and post.
You mentioned you might sit out some days. How's that process?
Great. So far, we've practiced 3 days in a row and 2 days off. So that's lend itself to him having recovery. Once we leave tomorrow, it's more about 4 and 5 days in a row on. So that's when you really try to be smart with Ray.
With Parker, how does having Kobe on him every day in practice kind of help improve Parker as a player?
Good, it improves Kobe as well. And Kadeem, mix him in. It's those 3 guys that I think push each other. And that's a highly competitive environment you want, where on a daily basis you have competition. And the wings are the same between Alonzo and Raleigh. Kobe sometimes is over there. Ray, we have a lot of competition there. And, Keanu Pinder, you guys haven't asked me a lot about him. He's someone else that, has really been invaluable. He's older. He's quick defensively. He's rugged. He gives us a rebounding dimension, adds depth to the front court when you get into foul trouble. And I think he's been one of the pleasant surprises early on for us.
All right.
Yeah.